In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Great wardens stir, betrayal takes shape, Typhoon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight, chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide, Mortarian's pride, with nowhere to hide. The destroyer plague, a grim reward, Nurgle's laughter echoes aboard. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The death god transformed, never the same. Plague-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Mortarian stands, his sons by his side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The legion reborn, their fate revealed. Lies in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. The Lion's Gate, where hope was torn. Dragontide's blade meets the Plagueborn. Typhus herald, chaos born, Mortarian's wrath, the plague sworn. In the warp, their legacy thrives, eternal servants where corruption lies. Mortarians fall, Typhus ascends, the death god song, it never ends.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Disgustingly Resilient podcast, and the whole crew is here tonight. How is everyone doing? Hello Mr. Will, hello Mr. Dave. How are we doing, guys?
Yeah, good.
Awesome. So before we jump into here, again, thank you everyone for tuning in. And once again, we like to our favourite phrase, which is obviously a like,
a comment,
and subscribe.
We got it. We got it.
That was like we'd practiced it.
Yeah, I didn't even rehearse it. I was just like, I'm going to trust the boys. I was like, I'm going to trust the boys on these ones. And they picked it up nice. They're picking up what I'm putting down. But before we, obviously tonight's topic is quite straightforward. The Eldar Menace has arrived. Well, before we jump into that, we're going to obviously talk a little bit about ITT, because I'm there this weekend in Coventry. And I have my list obviously locked in. So we'll have a quick cover of that. But before we get into that, and before we have a quick check up with chat, let's check in with Will. How are you doing, Will? What have you been up to? How was Warboot?
Oh, Warboot was amazing, mate. I've got time for
Warboot.
For 90 quid, I got 2 Land Vaders, a Rhino, and 4 Predators. So I'm quite happy. Quite happy with that haul. So yeah. None of them are in particularly good condition. Don't get me wrong. They're all going to need a bit of TLC. So my hobby desk at the moment is basically the tank repair shop. Which is just quite annoying, poured out all over the place. But more tanks than I'll ever actually need. But you know, when the 3 Land Raider meta finally arrives, I'll be ready for it. So yeah, watch this space. But what about you, Dave? You know, you're obviously painting away there. What are you?
Yeah, Dave's painting again.
I've got to get the thing finished. We've got to give it away. I'm good, thanks, Will. We had a really fun stream the other night. I basically Aiden came and joined in, but we did like 2 hours of basically just talking about mash and pies and how to make good mashed potato and pudding, and it was good. Yeah, we had some medieval Dr. Dre and some other stuff. So yeah, it was good. We had basically a 2 hour paint. It was good.
The conversation got derailed very quickly on that hobby
It
hangout.
got derailed very fast, but in a good way, and everyone had a good time.
Yeah, the chat was joining in. We discussed what mashed potato was in America.
Yeah, we did.
We had lots of great discussions.
Labour laws.
Yes.
That was a good riveting chat, guys. Like I say.
It was wide ranging, and people had a good time. So yeah, it was good to do a different kind of stream. But I'll just say one more thing on this. Was what we talked about in the stream was that we might do something silly like ask people to donate $1 each to like Patreon or something, so YouTube doesn't take 30% of it, and then we give it away for charity or something.
To win the plague surgeon
Really
nice painting. So
that's quite a good idea.
You can win the one and only model Dave will ever paint.
Yep. One and only.
But yeah, so that's awesome to hear, guys. And just very quickly, let's check in with the chat. First up, we've got a Lazy DM and Disflux both come in with the 5 gifted memberships there. Thank you so much, guys. So
really kind of you.
It's massively kind and generous here. So just for those who don't know, becoming a member means becoming a Plague Marine, so if we ever say that's what we mean. Plague Marines get access to our Discord, get access to our giveaways, plague surgeries. You get access to also download all the music, even though the music is listenable now on Spotify for anyone. Plague Marines have it for download, so they can put it wherever they want, on the phone, take it to the gym, play it at your mum's, wedding. So she's like, what the hell have you just put on the channel? And you're like, it's a great beat, mum, don't worry about it.
Someone's latest makeout track, you never know.
You never know.
Get sexy with disgusting resilient.
I did have a really good idea, which is we're going to make. I'm sorry, Will. I just talked over you. That was strange. But yeah, we can make the Valentine's Day playlist perhaps. What I was going to say was also I thought about we should create some like ambient music for people to paint to, like Death Guard ambient.
I mean, I don't know what is Death Guard, but just like fart sound and stuff.
Like a bathroom stall.
Just a nice kind of slow one with like a bit of kind of strings underneath it or something.
But yeah, for those who did just get gifted membership, do say thank you for the person that gifted it you, obviously. But then go to our community tab. Go to our community tab on our YouTube homepage, scroll down a few posts, you'll see a link to join the Discord with your membership. Once you're in there, go to the settings on Discord, connections, link your YouTube to Discord, and it'll unlock all of the features. So thank you very much. And if you are interested in becoming a Plague Marine, it is £3 a month. It is less than a coffee. So maybe give it and consider. But pair that, likes and subscribes are more than welcome. So let's have a quick chat in. Don Houston is in the chat. Hey, Mr. Crablord himself. Now,
crab.
me and Will have done a chat with Mr. Don. It went on for like just over an hour, didn't it, as well, Will?
Yeah, about 1 hour and 20, I think it was in the end.
So we've just got the audio all done for that now, so that'll be going up. And I've got another one that I did with Hans as well, who's another one of our guys, Tofu Bolt. Both these players went into top 15 at LVO. There's one more fella that I'm trying to arrange to get on. I need to message him back, and that'll be all 3 of the top 15 players. So keep your eyes out for those interviews going up relatively soon on the channel. They'll be just audio only. Let's listen, so nice and easy if you're in the car or so much whack it on. But they are coming up. But thank you very much, Don, again. Again, congratulations, Mr. Defiler Lord. We've got Simon Stein, we've got Lazy DM who made a terrible joke, and I'm considering banning him for that joke. Martin K, Necros DB, yeah, man, he's here for the mash and toad in the hole. Someone was here for last night's stream. Matthew Silbernagel, Cert, Prometheus Williams, Lazy Chicken, obviously, Mod is right next to me here. Last Criminal, your average paramedic, which we always say once again, there's no such thing as an average paramedic. You guys are heroes. Dylan Hollingsworth, good afternoon, gentlemen. I think the question we're all wondering, are Plague Bus Crawls back? We will get to that, but slight spoiler ahead warning, maybe.
Discuss.
Renegade saying, I still have my Christmas tree. It's not a Christmas tree, it's a neon RGB tree. It's very different, okay? But yeah, and that's about everyone. And I thought of a question mark on the end. You know the one, the pitch goes higher at the end. That's what our Nurgle music sounds like. There you go. Like.
Very much so.
Right, okay, so before we get into the Eldar Menace that we're all obviously expecting, I am at the Coventry ITT this weekend with Team Vanguard Tactics. So, oh god, I'm being attacked by a dog. The dog's back again. So, obviously list lock-ins have happened. I think pairings usually go up on Wednesday, don't they, Will, for UKTC?
I think so, yeah. I don't know about the teams one. I mean, our team also has one there. I'm not on it this year. February was quite a heavy Warhammer month, and I think if January was. I think if I throw another one, I think Mrs. might just kick me out. But there is a Stormhammer team there in attendance, so I'll be rooting for you both. But yeah, if you get paired into each other, unfortunately, we'll have to go with the
Team Stormhammer, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
There we go. but yeah, so I think it is Wednesday though. So what did you go with then, Aidan? Because obviously we've talked a little bit on the channel about sort of Plague Storm, and it's kind of like, you know, I thought I'd give it a go, and Dave obviously ran like a Plague Storm-esque thing at LVO. It seems like we've sort of rubbed off a bit on you, have we?
Yeah, so I mean, I was debating. I basically gave the guys an option because obviously I'm not team captain, and I gave them the option of basically having. I could easily go like one thing Death Guard's really good at is like shutting down melee armies. So I offered to obviously take 12 Death Shroud, 2 massive bricks with -1 damage, and a fight first Plague Marine brick, and then just fill in the rest with like predators and whatnot, and just be like, hey, melee matchups, don't come near me, I'll murder you. And then I also put forward obviously Plague Storm, because Plague Storm is naturally quite a skew list, which is usually what you want for teams. So having access to that is quite nice. It's a lot of cheap hulls. It just blasts people away. It's also quite hard to 20-0 against it because it's just annoying. You can play defensive with the Plague Burst Crawlers, all that kind of stuff. So in the end, we ended up taking on our team, we had Custodes, GSC, Bridgehead Strike, which we'll probably talk about Eldar. And the other thing was Marines Anvilus Siege Force with like Desolation Marines, which is quite an interesting build from Ben Jones, but in Ben we trust. So in the end, we felt like melee matchups weren't going to be such an issue anyway, because like the GSC can obviously prison it, and the Custodes can obviously smash it quite hard. So I was told to go with a safe pick of Ironstorm, so I kind of went with what the standard was, Will. The sort of Nathan Roberts list, so I triple Predator, Destructor. I have took one with Twin Heavy Bolters though, because it did impress me in my test game. So I've got one Twin Heavy Bolter Predator. I've got 3 Plague Burst Crawlers, 2 of them with the Flamers. I've wanted to keep 1 Entropy Cannon because obviously I'm giving up that Heavy Bolter there, so I wanted to make sure I had still some Las Cannons in. And then I have a War Dog Carnivore, so for you, Will, which I'm literally painting up right now in the 30k colour scheme of Death Guard, which is making me want to repaint my entire army. Thank you again, Dave.
Pleasure. You're welcome.
Triple Bloat Drone. I've gone 2 with the Spitters, 1 with a Heavy Blight Launcher. I would have gone 2 Heavy Blight Launchers, but I only own the 1 with a Heavy Blight Launcher. Don kind of sold me on that a little bit, so that's in there.
Yeah, they're great. You won't regret that.
And then the bit where I went a bit different from Nathan is where he'd go for 2 Predator Annihilators. I went for a Rhino, 5 Plague Marines, and an Icon Bearer. And then I also had like some extra things in there. I think I've got like an extra unit of Cultist over what he had. So I've got 30 Cultists rather than 20. The logic being like if I come into one of these matchups where even if I get in the mirror, getting Contagion out there means exposing a Demon Engine. And I can't just run Cultists up because they'll get flamed to death. But if I have the Icon Bearer in my list, I can obviously use these once per game 12-inch aura, and it'll hopefully let me get that Contagion where I want it for a turn 1, so I can basically either kill the first vehicle without trading a vehicle, or if I come across like a Desolation Marines or someone that's staging in the midpoint, I can get a really early Boil Blight off because I just get him out the Rhino on his own, move advance, plant the banner, get an early Boil Blight with a -1 save Contagion, and just damage that because like Desolation Marines are 200 points or something for 5 Marine bodies. So if you manage to land shots on that, that's like big value straight up. So I mean, I'm hoping it does work. It's a bit weird, a bit techy, but we'll see how it goes. I want it to be a little bit different. So yeah, I'm feeling okay with it. I'm obviously not a massive car park enjoyer. Morty, obviously Morty's there as well. But I'm excited to see how it goes. And you know, worst case scenario, just go have a blast, have some fun. I've got a really good team. I definitely feel like the 5th man on the team. I'm not gonna lie. But you know, all I've got to do is, you know, don't lose anything horrifically, and that's my job's there. I've already been told I'm not the 20-0er. That's for like Porter and I think Ben also is on a sort of like a draw one. I think it's down to mainly Porter, Stephen, and oh god, what's the bloody Mike Costello with Bridgehead.
Yeah, Mike say yeah.
To get the 20-0, so I can play defensive. That's one thing I can do. So I am more than happy with that.
It is
so.
your play style.
It is very much so. I'm looking forward to it, and obviously we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, I will have the first team event. I have not been paired against England round one. Maybe the curse will continue. We've had 3 in a row. What's 4 in a row? So we will see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And if I message you or after pairings go up, frantically panicking about deploying a plague storm list, I expect you two who are more arts in the way of vehicular warfare to help me out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think I deployed very well when I tried it. I think that was one of the problems, the biggest issues I had. I think because the weapon profiles are some things are so matchup dependent, and sort of like the way the units work. Like I say, I don't think I go back to Plague Storm having played that many hulls. I like more hulls than you, definitely, in terms of a list, but I think all hulls was maybe a little bit too much. Like, I don't mind when it's knights, because knights are a lot quicker, and obviously they have OC, but I couldn't get my head round about which things get grouped together, which things go solo,
right,
which things start on and off the board. I think I personally, I think I sort of didn't adapt to my opponent enough. I think I just sort of like, oh, well, I think this is how it would play, and then just followed the same thing and got caught out a couple of times. So be interested to say you get on it, and I think there's definitely some differences in your list. Things that to me I wouldn't have took, but then other things that I think make a lot of sense. So I think it's definitely your play style of Iron Storm, which I think would be really interesting one. Plus, of course, your player skill, will of course shine here as well. What are you worried about facing? Is there anything like? So I'm guessing you've done like a rough.
I don't really want to fight like I don't want to fight against like Bridgehead. Bridgehead's just like horrific. I don't like that matchup very much. Happy to go into Marines, really. I'm not too fussed about that. Happy to go into the Mirror because Death Guard are really popular at this event, so I'm happy to go into the Mirror. There's quite a few. There's quite a few 18 Death Shroud lists as well, so like I would really happily go into that and just eat them alive with Predators. Just ignoring all the modifiers and just like, hey, blam blam blam. Yeah. So that'd be pretty good. It's not too much. That's the thing. I don't think I'm actually too concerned about anything in particular. I think I'll be okay into most things. I don't think I actually like crush anything unless someone puts a really dumb pairing into me.
The one I thought was a red when I played, I think Chaos Knight War Dog spam.
Oh yeah, because they're just doing what I'm doing, but probably better.
They're doing it, but doing it a bit better. They can do in that matchup because you don't have the guns to take them. They can either try and beat you in a fight, or they can actually just play the mission.
They can just deny me primary all game. So that'd be a weird one.
But I think the rest of your team should eat that alive. So if that's the red one, then you should go out first. They'll obviously put presumably them as something else. You take something else, and then someone smashes the Chaos Knights list. So I think when that's the only real that example or something like that, I think you'd be pretty fine. So yeah, sounds really positive. So. Who else is on the team? So it's you, Porter, Stephen Box,
Mike Costello, and Ben Jones. So
nice.
It is a strong team. So we'll see how we get on. But we're going to do as well as we can, and hopefully we get a good finish. I like do we beat like Team Ignite in England? Maybe on a lucky day, but at the same time, like. I definitely know for myself personally, I do not play to the amount that they play. They have far more practice.
You've got the caliber on your team, haven't you?
Yeah, 100%.
And Porter. I mean, if Porter was pushing himself to sort of do the England stuff, I imagine he would be starting on the England team. The caliber that he's proven in the past.
Yeah.
So the fact you've got him, and obviously Stephen Box is no pushover either. So I think. Depending on how parents.
Yeah, and one Leicester, and like you've got, and Michael finished third, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm like sat here thinking like I'm the weakest link, so I'm gonna play it safe, just get a 10 on that. If we get into that pairing, we'll see. That's my goal. But I gotta remember, I did, even though I lost the game. Let's not forget, I tabled Manichima. I'm holding that. You beat me, Manny. You beat me by 11-9, but. I tabled you on your 1,000 Suns.
I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are in the top cut. I'll put it that way. That would be that'd be something I'd say. I wouldn't surprised, unless you get unfortunate, you play Ignite or England or one of the other sort of like elite teams, early doors. It wouldn't surprise me if you're in the top cut. Certainly, I imagine those elite teams must be looking at you as one of the teams that they're sort of, are focusing on.
Yeah, they're like, oh, Ben Jones, oh, Mike Costello, oh, Box, oh, Porter. Who the fuck is that guy? At the end, hello.
I don't know. I think you're pretty high up there on the ELO. You're in the top 100. I think you were 89th or something.
I don't know. But it'll be fine. I'm going for fun. I'm just going to do the best I can. That's all I can do. Prometheus Williams saying, happy birthday, War Dog Will.
Oh, thank you for belatedly from last week, but thank you very much.
Don Houston with his $7.77 super chat. I'm willing to offer my coaching services to Aiden on how to deploy the car park. I'll take you up on that, Don. That'd be extremely useful. It seems the chat is mimicking what you're saying, that they don't like the Armaga matchup. Well, Don is pretty confident in it, but maybe that's
all
some
holes,
practice.
it's quite well. Yeah, I can attest.
I think with the weapons that you've gone for, Ian, I think it's more your weapon loadouts. I think
you do not trust the heavy bolter, good sir. And yes, Hugh Janus, by the way, Dave is painting for a second day in a row, and that is a smile you see on his face.
Yeah, it's because I've got to hurry up and get this thing done, so I don't have to do it anymore, and I can give it to somebody. So.
Is that the plan, Dave? Just to get that one finished, then go get one of your commission papers.
Then I can say I've done it. No, I won't lie. I'm finding it a little bit fun. It's fun hanging out while listening to you two whilst I'm doing it. It's a bit like pre joining the podcast. I get to kind of sit and listen to you. So go for it.
Oh, there you go. Well, yeah.
Nice.
But just to finish on the ITT stuff before we sort of go into sort of the meta in general and maybe sort of Eldar, because I think one of the things that makes Nathan's version of the list sort of armor isn't as big an issue is the Predator Annihilators, but I think the Predator Annihilators are so matchup dependent.
Yeah.
But then I can't work it out. Or do if you come up against a horde, which you're not struggling with, do they just drive around the edges and just do actions and they're just? I can't. Like I say, I'd either need more reps or to sort of to speak to someone like Nathan in detail or hear him break it down the podcast, because for me it just didn't click. I thought it would click more than it did, but it just didn't.
I can tell you that. If you ever want to take a gamble, like I can talk more in depth as well, because I've gone. I think I'm a year and a bit ago went 4-1 with the all Predators, all PBCs, Land Raider, Rhino. It's what you guys talked about before. That it's also playstyle, right? It's whether you like that or not. Like I wouldn't be as comfortable playing War Dogs like you do, and I would feel much more comfortable playing more the holes and that, and I wouldn't do as good a job as you would with your thing. So, but yeah, and I get it. It's a bit, but whether that works in in what's going to be the new meta, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But
well, that leads us nicely into what we think the new meta is. So before we sort of specifically focus on Eldar, and because we can talk about where this into the meta. What do we think at the moment is, so obviously Bridgehead, like the hot take I've heard, not blowing the lead, but I've heard that the Eldar book is strong, but then I've heard all the hot takes of like it's strong, but Bridgehead's still way stronger, seems to be the unanimous hot take I've heard on the sort of the other content that I've sort of absorbed before doing this episode. I don't know if people agree or disagree with that, and then who else do we think is looking good in the meta right now?
So I'm just laughing at you talking about me looking like I know what I'm doing painting.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Eldar book's really, really strong. Like I said, we'll go into that in a minute. I think Bridgehead is just honestly kind of degenerate. I don't like how it works. You just slap. I mean, you basically it's so hard to counterplay because you slap some decent indirects in your backlines or some shooty platforms. And then you basically tell your opponent, okay, sit there and die to indirect and score no points, or push me and then get Scion dropped on and get obliterated off the board. And like neither of them feel good. Like the units just hit way too hard for what they're worth, and because they all start off the board, you can't even like indirect damage into the Scions to weaken them first. I don't know. To me, it's a perfect combination of like uninteractivity, which I just really don't like. And Scion's getting buffed even more, even though they were already daft, is kind of why like full wound rerolls is not the thing that unit needed. It's just made it even more absurd. I admit I would rather play against some of the new Eldar stuff than the Bridgehead 100%, because Bridgehead to me is from the get-go I'm just in a position of I am fucked if I do and I'm fucked if I don't. I sit here and die passively and score nothing, or I actually expose some stuff, maybe kill some like chaff, because they can still afford so much chaff. You know, like 20 Krieg bricks, you kill them and then you just die to the Scions, which to me is not exactly a fun thing. Like, to me, guards should not be hitting that hard with any unit. Even the Scions, which are supposed to be like the most elite trained guys, should at best be dealing like marine damage.
Yeah, it should be the tanks
God
that
should
do all
have
the
volume.
damage.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
Like, the tanks and the Scions can do damage, but it should never be like the level of like a marine tank or like a marine elite squad, because like that's the point of being marine.
They're not Astartes.
Yeah, I think the problem is the problem can be the addition a little bit of I think GW don't understand that the amount of overlapping stacking rules you can get this edition, and you take a profile which is already pretty good, like Scions, it's already pretty good, and then all the buffs that go on it take it from being pretty good to good, then to really good, and then to absolutely cracked, and then I don't
think
know.
you're right, but I think GW do understand some of
Oh,
this.
come on, they already know
They've
what
got
they're
some
doing.
new Scion scopes out in it, and Scions are busted strong. Do you know what I mean? It's always funny when the codexes come out. It's that unit that no one in the last edition, or that really old naff sculpt that no one
Never
survives
took.
and has
Yeah.
the best rules. Like Predators in this edition. Do you know what I mean?
See, when they lost Deep Strike in the Codex, it was an accident. They forgot to write on the thing. I was like, okay, that's a fair trade. Like Scions are now not the Deep Strike; it's the Aquilons which Deep Strike, because they do a lot less damage. But Scions are like the hard hitters, but they have to have a transport and they have to foot slug it. I'm okay with that because it's counterplay, and then they give him Deep Strike back, and it's like, oh, okay, never mind. So I mean, Bridgehead's gonna be a problem.
I mean, Bridgehead sounds impressive. I haven't played against it. I haven't absorbed a lot of content about it either. But like I say, it was just a hot take that consistently came when I was sort of trying to sort of like get my head around at least the broader sense of the Eldar book. I mean, Slaanesh Demons also seem up there as well.
They are
I've heard
very,
a lot
very
of
good at
chatter.
the moment. I would expect. So, I mean, if there's two things on my radar right now, which are probably going to get a nerf, it's probably those two. I can see Marines maybe get in touch, but the thing is, even the still Marines aren't putting up crazy results. Even with all the updates and the bonuses and the +1 to winged and oaths, like they're not putting up crazy. Like, they're doing good, but they're not like crazy. Whereas like Slaanesh Demons at the moment, and like I think Bridgehead's problem is, even though the win rate's still high, it also just feels really bad to face.
Yeah. So, I mean, Slaanesh Demons, like I've only played them once, and I actually beat with the Death Shroud build, and I beat them with the Classic because I made 9-inch charges.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't make the 9-inch charges, that matchup's probably pretty grim, to be honest.
Really?
I don't know.
So,
I'm not
so
too worried about the Slaanesh one, I'll be honest with you. I think again, we can build in a certain way that can just shut down Slaaneshi melee stuff. Not too bad.
I think the Flamers are good in that matchup. I think the issue is, can you kill the Keepers efficiently enough? But then the Keepers admittedly aren't great in hulls, I suppose, unless the hull's T9 actually, which I suppose Army's got a lot of. It would be an interesting one, that one.
Well, Predators is T10, PBC is T10.
Do you know?
Okay, I mean, I wouldn't see it as a blowout anyway. I think that one in a team's format, you probably, even if you lose, you probably score enough points to keep it respectable. And then maybe if you were pushing in singles and you were willing to sort of take the chances, maybe you could push it over the edge. I'm not sure on that one. I'd need to play it more. I guess.
I think one of the funny things about the Slaanesh matchup is, annoyingly, it makes Dons defilers shine again, because the thing that makes Keepers okay against hulls is they run up to you, they use their army rule and go, okay, I'm going to give up fight first when we get full wound rerolls. And then the Rhino's like, oh no, I'm going to hit you with 3 strength 6 0 AP 1 damage attacks.
Yeah.
Now you charge a defiler. You want to let the crab go first?
Yeah, you don't want to
Snippy snip. So, which is another quite weird little funny point there, which kind of makes me laugh. But yeah, I mean, I think Slaanesh is extremely strong. Bridgehead, they're the two on the radar. Solar Spearhead for Custodes, I'm not sure. Marines are good, but I still think, I don't know if they're too good. Solar Spearhead as well for Custodes with a Dreadnought spam. I don't know how people feel about
Marines are too good.
You reckon?
I do think Marines. I think Marines are cracked, but I think they're cracked because of Oath. I think if they just change Oath, then they would be fine.
Yeah.
Plus, maybe some sort of point stuff to some of the main offenders within Ultramarines. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know I've heard people moan that Gilliman and Calgar and all this stuff is too expensive, but then every list seems every high-performing list seems to have them both. So well, they're too expensive, but then people can still do really well with them. So I don't know if that's sort of like apologists within the faction, just sort of wishing they could have, have the cake and eat it. But from what I've seen of Marines, when I've played against them the last couple of times, they were just like I say, like Vindicator's wounding Morty on 2s with a full reroll to hit. It just felt pointless. Like having any like big centerpiece model, it just felt like it had no chance at all.
Yeah.
Do a quick chat back in with chat.
Yeah.
A few comments. So Nat says I need to lick my brush more. Magnus did nothing wrong is in the chat. So hello Magnus. Said Wind Rider host is going to be a tough matchup. That mobility is wild. Lazy came in and said Society's just a temporary problem, making them strong enough to encourage sales and then nerf them. The Athenian said just pop in and say hi that I saw Will at Element the other day buying a cheeky Predator. So someone popped in to see you there, Will. Warvane, how are you doing? Necros DB said 9-inch move on heavy intercessors can only carry so hard. It's pretty hard, but only so hard. Liam from Team Wells is apparently taking Slash Demons took them to Coventry. He said this is notorious. Nurgle said got smashed by it, boxed me in turn 1, and that was it. And then Dovdas says, people having great results against Vanguard Spearhead. My slow ass gets blown off by Centurion's interceptors every time. Don said, Solar Spearhead's another scissors to our rock. And New Oath is fine if you don't do Death Star, your units. And then finally, Tyler Crazy Wolf says, what's up guys? Finally getting over COVID. A reminder from Papa Nurgle with a bit of a smile.
He's watching.
I'm glad you're finally getting over that. But yeah, just a few bits there. So just wanted to jump in and say thanks everyone for messaging.
Oh yeah, of course, and keep them coming, guys. We'll keep trying to check in. So I suppose unless anyone can think of anything else that's big in the meta. I mean, obviously, Thousand Suns are always there when they're piloted by a top player.
Top player, yeah.
I think they're so low on units at the moment. Unless you play, if you play someone. I don't know his surname. Is it Alex? He's called me, the guy who's always in the top cut at UKTC. If you play someone like him, then you're probably in for a rough time. But if you're playing someone on the mid tables, and
if you're playing Alex or Paul Bridge or someone, then you're having a rough day.
Yeah, but mid tables is probably sort of player skill will be a big factor, I would guess.
Especially with 3 PBCs.
There you go. Yeah, although the PBCs do not do much into power armor, I have to say. Like this.
Well, I would. Yeah, okay, I think statistically you're right.
For their points. For their points.
Yeah, for the points. Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
like a blow drawn at 90, you don't mind when it is really annoying when you roll the 3 shots, but you don't mind sometimes when it rolls 6 or 7 and then put a handful of wounds through. But a PBC for its points, it should either be more efficient or cheaper.
Just roll 6s. Just roll 6s, Will, on the shots. Just roll 6s.
Yeah, just roll more 6s.
Easy, mate.
Just roll more 6s and make sure.
Just ask Mike Way in the chat. Just ask him out how his assault intercessors did turn 1.
I would say they running 2 at LVO was a real. Was my big surprise of. Well, you know how your 20 Poxwalkers at Leicester was your like.
Oh
big,
yeah.
Okay, like that. You were suddenly like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I put them in a lot of lists now.
I would put 2 PBCs back on the table. I think I'd run 3 into my next event.
Really?
Even at 180, they were so good because I did it basically in our chat before LVO. We talked about 2 things, which was they can make a hole, they can bully, and I was like, well, I'll try and use them like that, and I basically used them in both ways, and sometimes both in the same game, and they absolutely just were either picking stuff up on the backfield and making holes in places which someone had to either come back and cover, or they just lost what was there. Or I just pushed them upfield, then put this big chunky 2-up safe hole that had cover, hanging around, blowing kind of stuff off the table at relatively close range, and then being like, well, if you want to charge it, it's fine, because you're not going to kill it with what you're charging it with, and it's massive, so it's blocking lines of sight in between buildings, which means you're not charging the other stuff, which is then going to get to come around and either charge it and tank shock it, or it's shooting into combat and the mortar's going externally. So it actually kind of, I think it was really effective again. I agree with you, 180 is still pricey, but I definitely was pleased to put them back on the table. My little 2 cents worth.
When I ran Iron, I'm very close to Nathan's Iron Storm at that team's tournament. I was surprised at how much I liked them, And then I started trying to make lists with them afterwards, and I was just like, this list has got nothing. Like it's just the sort of, it
very
just seems like,
expensive.
yeah. As soon as, I mean, they make sense in the hull spam, especially when you've got lots of cheap 90-point hulls in there. But as soon as you start adding like other, so I was like, at one point I was like, oh, I could do 3 PBCs and 3 brigands. I bet that's amazing. You put it in Battleground, there's like no points
Nothing
left
left.
for anything else. And they were like this really compact list that you think, no, I just can't see how it would play. But yeah, I'm not against them. But what are your thoughts on PBCs in? Because obviously, Eldar coming back, they're very
Yes.
tricksy.
So
do we think that that's enough of a reason to put them in, or?
So let's have a quick recap. So we're not going to go through the Eldar rules. We're not going to do an Eldar Codex review because we don't do that on this channel because we leave that to the Eldar players. What we do is we look at stuff from a Death Guard perspective. So the new army rule. So we will touch on the army rule though because they have lost fate dice. So that's good. That is good. I am happy fate dice gone. I want miracle dice removed for the same reason. I don't think a dice game should have the ability to just go, that's my dice instead, because it's just silly. Like, being able to get one Bright Lance through and just be like, yeah, that's 8 damage. Like, it's just daft. There should always be an element of randomness to the game, because that's why it's a dice game. Like, if I have to roll for all my charges, so should you. That being said, they've replaced it for another amazing rule, like, holy crap, where basically they get an amount of tokens at the start of every round, and they can spend them either in their own turn or their opponent's turn to do certain movement-based things, such as you can't be overwatched this turn, you can move after being shot, all these kind of, or they can move an extra amount of inches, all this kind of stuff, which is very, very powerful, obviously. So, Eldar, it looks like the book itself, not only does it have some like disgusting damage output, but they've really honed in on the tricksy sort of mobility aspects of Eldar, which means that for a slow-ass army like ourselves, trying to get beads on the targets we want to is going to become increasingly difficult. But you know what doesn't care about line of sight here, Will?
Go on, tell me. I have a feeling I could guess, but surprise me.
Well, Will, did your guess begin with the word plague?
Does it finish with crawler?
It might do, Dave. Sorry, Will. It might do, Will. Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, the indirect is... It kind of sucks that it still hits on 4s, but it is what it is. But the thing is, elves are... One thing they haven't gotten in this book is durability increase. So I saw someone before worried about Wind Riders and Wind Rider build. One thing I'll say about this book is, like, if our book is even on close to this book, I will be over the moon because despite it being strong, the main important thing and the main thing I take when I look at this is almost every single one of those detachments is viable. Like, that's a really cool thing. Like, they all have, like, reasons to be ran, and they all look really strong. So, if we get the same designer as this, and he puts the same amount of love into our detachments and stuff, I'll be over the moon. But, back onto that topic, a lot of their durability has actually gone down. They can't automatically pass invulns or, you know, crutch 6-up saves now, because Fate Dice don't exist. And stuff like Wind Riders went from a 3-up save to a 4-up save again, so they went down in durability, which means if someone does bring a Wind Rider heavy build, PBCs... as Will alluded to before, don't really like shooting to 3-up save, but anything that's sort of like 4-up and above is kind of fair game at that point, because it's just a 50-50 chance to get the damage through. So you can, you know...
The 2 wounds each the Wind Rider.
Yeah, so, right? Yeah, exactly. So you're still going to pop a dude every time, so...
Profile.
Which is quite a good profile into it. It's only T4, because they go from T3 to T4, so they send 2 wounds, so... Actually a pretty good profile for shooting into that unit, which is nice. And also for the infantry, like we can look at Guardian Warhost, one of their silly stratagems is that at the end of your opponent's turn, so in our turn as the Death Guard player, if there's a Guardian unit on the board that is damaged but not dead and it's not in melee, they can remove it from the board, put it back into strategic reserves, and resurrect every single dead model in that unit. So if they had a unit 20 and one guy lived, he can then pay a command point, put them back into reserve, and it's back up to 20 again. It's absurd. But you know what they can't do? They can't do it if they're battle shocked. And what does the PBC do? Force up to potentially 3 battle shock tests on them. So that will also prevent that build. So we have the PBCs offer an answer to the Guardian Warhost builds people are talking about with this resurrecting nonsense. Because it's not once per game that either. They can do that infinite amount of times. It's pretty good against Wind Rider hosts because again the mortars kill the bikes pretty efficiently. I think the main thing that the PBCs are going to potentially struggle with is Fire Dragons, because they are... Someone's mapped it out, and a unit of 10 Fire Dragons with Fugan if they are in range of all three, which is obviously a silly scenario, but if they are, can pop 3 Rogel Dawns in one activation.
What
And they've
is
got
the
lots
range
of,
on a fire dragon?
This is the other problem. 12 normally, which is great for us because we have
I'm gonna
flamers.
say because the flamers would be amazing in them.
yeah,
They
then
would.
you get to overwatch them. Yeah,
But Fugan's rule is add 6 inches to the range of all melter weapons.
and they've got ability, and they've got one of their token abilities is no overwatch.
Yes.
Oh right, got you.
And they've got and even with that stuff, they've got movement shenanigans to move close to move even bigger movement than normal anyway to get into range to fire them without the strat. So
Yeah.
they've got like 3 ways of getting around it.
Yeah. Also,
They
thank you
also-
very much very quickly to Blaze Chicken for the gifted membership there. Congratulations to Copark. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So
Oh.
again, go and check the community tab for Copark there for gifted membership. Find the link to join our Discord. Get in here and enjoy all of the benefits of being a Plague Marine. Thank you so much, Natalie.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like,
So,
what's right?
one thing linked to fire dragons that I've heard on one of the things I listened to. Apparently, there's that weird fight get back in a transport after combat.
Yeah.
Phase. It's not worded that you have to fight, so they can do that shootout in the combat phase. They just get back in, which I imagine that'll be a day 1 FAQ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A quick FAQ, because surely that's not how they intend that to be.
Yeah, because
But
the other
that-
problem that gives them as well, Will, is that it allows them to constantly keep re-triggering reroll all wounds from a Falcon. Because they get back in it, and then they get back out next turn, shoot again, full rolls to wound, get back in,
Yeah.
full rolls to wound. I've been against that in AdMech. Now, bear in mind, AdMech guns hit nowhere near as hard as Eldar guns. And that was super annoying to do with. Like, if they'd get out the transport, the enhancement where they could move after shooting, they'd shoot me with full rolls to wound and full rolls to hit, and then they'd move back with infinite transport and re-embark it. It was super annoying because the transport would often be behind a wall as well, so they'd get out, up the side of the wall, shoot everything, move back, get behind the transport, back behind the wall, which is incredibly frustrating to deal with. So yeah, I can imagine that being a day 1 FAQ as well. But a good point you pulled there. I am concerned about that no Overwatch token. That is incredibly powerful. And
Do they have? Do they do mortals on the charge still? Is it does Howling Banshees used to do that? Do they have that ability? Am I thinking of past editions? I haven't seen the tool in
They
10,
do.
sorry.
I think they've. Well, I don't know if it depends if they still have that ability in the datasheet, but they did have that. Yeah.
Because that used to be a bit oppressive, like charging your death shroud and just pick up a free death shroud before anyone even rolls an actual combat dice.
yeah.
You used to get really frustrated by stuff like that.
I know people are also talking about Wraith builds for teams, so they have a strat now which is just -1 command point, 1, in shooting or melee phase, -1 damage taken for a Wraith unit. So people are thinking about taking units of Wraith Guard, Wraith Blades, maxing it out, matching up the board. You can double use the strat because you can have like certain leaders enhancements, and then obviously they can turn off Overwatch those stuff. That's been talked about because that many Wraith units, which are like T7 as well, with -1 damage is obviously quite scary. That I don't think is an issue for us at all because we just bring Mortarion and Predators and just annihilate them because they are infantry models. And -1 damage, don't care. It's flat 3 damage, you have 3 wounds. We ignore modifiers, bye-bye. So
I think the one thing I would say to expand on that, though, I think the problem with books like this is actually the variety of builds. Because you've highlighted 2 builds there that are fixed by 2 completely different archetypes that we can take. So in teams, makes sense, if that Wraith build's everywhere, you can counter it. But in singles, if you're ready for the Wraith build, if that becomes prevalent, you're not ready for the aspect warriors with the PBCs because it's probably very hard to build a list that has all that and still functions elsewhere. Like 3 PBCs, 3 Predators, and Morty. You're not really you've got a few squads of cultists and very few other units playing the game. So I guess that's another problem with books like this, where the variety is great for their player base because it's really exciting to be able to sort of build in different ways. But in terms of the meta, I mean, I heard it described as whack-a-mole somewhere. As soon as you sort of one problem's fixed, another one pops up with these kind of books.
yeah.
I wonder if that'll be the issue.
Yeah, that is something that's been said, that basically because the book it's kind of got the issue that we've had another book come out this edition which had such a, I think, like, was it Necrons? Because they came out, Canoptic Court was really
Orcs
strong.
on release day as well was another one, because people worried about Green Tide. And
That was it, and
and
yeah.
And
And the thing is, the idea, like Will said, is the fact that if you bring in the Nerf Hammer on bop one, they just literally move over to the next build, and that's really good. They need to bop that one, and then it ends up, rather than being fixing a single balance patch, it ends up taking multiple balance patches to get the book to a point where like everything's almost been brought down to level. So, I mean, the nature of this edition is quite rock paper scissory anyway. Like certain detachments, because just the nature of detachments changing how armies play very significantly. There will always be an aspect of, and I mean, there always has been an aspect of getting lucky in runs to do well in events. Like, we can all sit here and say, like, player skill and stuff, and player skill does matter to a degree. But, if anyone ever tells you, like, they won an event purely off player skill and nothing to do with pairings, look, they're chatting out their ass. Because even the best players in the world will have a list in their mind they're praying they don't come against. And
yeah, I mean, obviously, there's dice as well, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's got the story of how they got screwed out of a game on that one dice roll. You know, that one time they played the Tyranids at Vanguard, you know, they did that battle shock and the whole army failed in the final turn. It's all right, okay, well,
GG.
Yeah. So, you know, it happens, doesn't it? But I know what you're saying. So you sort of basically saying it's a point where maybe if something's so far ahead in the meta, maybe sort of taking the other stuff that you think you can be. Because like, you'd be unlucky to play Eldar followed by Bridgehead at an event. You know, surely if you lost to Eldar, then Eldar and Bridgehead are both in the bracket above you, and then, you know, maybe you get unlucky in the final round because an Eldar player played a Bridgehead player, one that gets knocked down back into your bracket. But like you say, maybe sometimes it's better to sort of focus on other things, and then, you know, I don't know if that's something that the approach that we would take as Death Guard, or do we think that there really is a strong build that we can take and, you know, really sort of bring it to them?
I think a lot of it's going to come down to, like you said, the percent. If it, like, for example, if right now the Eldar player count, even despite it being strong, doesn't go up too much higher, like it kind of stays where it is, you could make an argument for, like, okay, you kind of have to prepare for Eldar if you go into the top tables, but most people can just sort of like play the game against other armies. Now, if that in fact is wrong and Eldar are now, because of all the new models, become everywhere, then the argument to sort of not build for it kind of becomes less effective. Like, we all remember the previous edition where, do you remember when Tyranid Codex came out?
Oh yeah,
and everyone and his mum.
That was a whack-a-mole codex, wasn't it? Every time we fixed one build,
another
thing was popped. Yeah.
Or everything having transhuman permanently, like that, and that was everywhere.
It was the outer line of sight build first, wasn't it? Before was that in like a random sort of White Dwarf update?
Oh, Crusher Stampede.
Yeah. It was the outer line of sight build, wasn't it, with the Gene Stealers and
there was all sorts of
Then it was
nonsense.
Crusher Stampede. Then the Codex came. And people at one point were thinking, can you run Crusher Stampede with the Codex rules, which obviously was shut down very quickly.
Yeah.
And then the Codex had a million busted different ways to like field Tyranids. Yeah, that was oppressive. Hopefully Eldar don't sort of, you know.
So here's if I could like summarize my thoughts on Eldar for you, Will, it would be that when Index Eldar came out, so this is this edition launch Index, you could be absolutely 1 IQ Andy, you could be dribbling at the table, you could be spilling your Coke all over the place, and win your game because the rules were just stupid. Like, you could see through all the terrain, you had dev runes and everything, you had a million fate dice, you put them in, you got first turn, you rolled your toilet dice, you won the game. Like,
that was the whole thing when they go first with that particular build, wasn't it?
Like, you didn't have to be a good player to do well with Eldar, and I'm sorry if you were one of the people in the chat who went and won an event with Eldar at the start of the edition, but please don't ever try and argue you'd won that with skill. It was brain dead. But the new Eldar, I feel like you can't get away as easily. I think the power is there. Not as much as the Index. The Index was stupid, but the power's there, but I don't think I think the player floor isn't as low, the skill floor. I think you still have to be... I think the skill ceiling is through the goddamn roof. I think the expert pro players who play this game all the time and practice all the time are going to be cracked with this attachment. But your average Joe, average Andy, I actually think it won't feel as bad because they won't know all the tricks in and out, and it'll take a lot of reps to get all the tricks down. And Eldar, thankfully, are still Eldar. Like, they still fold like paper. So if you do make a mistake and you can punish it, you can really hurt the Eldar player. So I'm not concerned about it like destroying the meta, because it could destroy the top end. I think that's what the worry is. It could destroy the top end, where all the tournaments are being won potentially by Eldar.
Where all the good players are. If
Yeah.
they're all playing Eldar, then absolutely that's going to happen.
So I wouldn't actually be surprised if we saw Eldar win rate being sort of middling, like round 50, maybe pushing 55. But if we saw their T-whip, which for people who listen is like times, I think it's times in winning positions. So like basically times that army's
when you
been...
take your first loss, in it.
Yeah, it's like when you've been in a podium.
If you take your first loss in round 5, then like obviously that's a problem, isn't it? If every army goes 4-1, only losing in round 5 to the person who went undefeated. So say Bridgehead, for example.
Yeah.
That's when you have a toxic.
Yes.
And the other one is overrep. I don't fully understand how overrep links to an army being good.
I don't fully understand overrep.
Unless the idea is it's good, so more people jump on it because they want to sort of, be on the winning thing.
Yeah.
So I get how T-whip shows, but I've never fully got how overrep does. But maybe that's something. Maybe that's something we do future episode. Maybe we get a stats guy on and just do a stats episode where they break down what all these things mean to us less hippo minds.
But I will say one thing, Will, and I'm not sure if you agree with me. I think you probably will. I think if Eldar become even semi-popular, I think Death Shroud builds are dead.
100%.
I think the Death Shroud build is pretty dead already, to be honest. Like I think that's been sort of being proven. I think maybe for 8-man teams, fair play if you can put Nurgle Demons in there as well, and you're just there to shut down World Eaters and stuff like that, and get that exact matchup. Other than that, I don't think Death Shroud as a unit are dead. I think
you want one.
I think 1 6-man. I don't think it's essential, but I don't think it's out of place either. And I think also naked 3-mans. I haven't tried them yet. At 110 points, dropping in and doing stuff, also could be quite good. I haven't tried that yet, but at the same time, 110 points, the characters don't really improve their output. If it drops down, does an action, it's fine. If it drops down, flames something, tries a 9-inch charge, doesn't make it, it's still fine. So that's, and it still requires proper shooting to kill. So that's something that the two way I think the Death Shroud could work at the moment. But yeah, I 100% agree. The 18 Death Shroud or 15 Death Shroud builds, I think maybe they're hanging on, maybe there's a few people making them work, maybe they've found other things in the list that kind of allow it to function, but I think you're right, Eldar would kill it dead because they've got so much damage output so quick.
I think Eldar are going to acquire Hero Hammer, like their Phoenix Lords are so, like all of them are crazy. Like Azuman, so people that don't know, Azuman has a once per game ability to supercharge his basically shooting attack, so he'll have 6 shots hitting on 2s, anti-infantry 3+, dev wounds, flat 3 damage. Now the squad he's leading can easily get sustained hits, and they have a strategy in multiple different ways to get this ability, where they can crit on 5s. So you have him critting on 5s, each one's sustained, so he's going to have way more shots than 6, and then every 3 to wound is a straight up Death Shroud dead. Azuman will 1-bomb a 6 squad of Death Shroud on his own. Never mind the Dire Avengers or Guardians joining him, he will 1-bomb them.
So it's anti-infantry with death wounds on.
Yes. He alone, to me, has made me cut every single 6-man Death Shroud. Because if I run because he's going to be in every list. He's so good. Like, he's really, really good. I'm here to see points a bit, but from what we've been hearing, the points on him are also pretty damn low and quite good. So with that, like, Azuman's existence alone for me is not just the death of Death Shroud, it is the death of big elite infantry units. Like Blade Guard, you're not going to see. Sang Guard, I don't think you'll see, because they're just going to get obliterated by him. I wouldn't be surprised even to see, like, like, he even picks up, like, half a squad of Deathwing Knights, because he goes down to 2 damage and each 2 kills a guy.
8-bound are in trouble.
8-bound, yeah, they'll get obliterated. So I think against Eldar, you have to play these elite things. I can see 3-mans, like you said, Will. I'd still be happy to bring a 3-man Black Lord of Contagion. I'm still okay with that.
All right.
I mean, 3-man even without it, you could spin them smart, put them somewhere doing action,
Yeah.
and then assuming it's not one that has to wait when the Eldar run up, run past them. 4d6 from the flamers might be enough to just punch through 5 guys. Do you know what I mean? You could kind of use them sort of maybe like that, just make them own a bit of the board where it's like I only move 4 inches, but you can't come within 12 of me.
True.
So it's like, I'm really slow, but I can punish your speed. So there might be something there. I'm yet to put it on the table, but I have thought a few times: is 2 units of 3, or 1 unit of 3, or even 3 units of 3 is there?
What I will say is though, if the 6-man Death Shroud brick is dead, I am 100% not taking 10 Plague Marine squads with the characters.
No.
You know what? I wouldn't be so quick to discount that in this matchup. That the 10 Plague Marines has other issues because you got to remember you're hiding them. If you can play the game well and hide them, they have to see them. I haven't seen anything in that Eldar, but from what I've seen, that's going on the indirect's a problem.
Just
that
D-cannons,
build has
but
a problem with. Are they still 24-inch range or D-cannons, or do they?
They are, but they can now attach to Guardians, so you can't even PBC off it. But I mean, D-cannon, be honest, like a D-cannon is probably going to be shooting your vehicles, let's be honest.
Yeah, because I think the reason the 10 Plague Marines might be iffy is whirlwinds. Like anyone, I mean, even 2 whirlwinds, possibly even 1 whirlwind, and an Oath of Moment, like that is a
it's
rough
bad day, yeah.
Plague Marines, it is very rough. So yeah, but I do think the 10 Plague Marines are back personally because of the changes of UKC terrain. But I think they're only back assuming you don't come up against some matchups. And again, if you're worried about those matchups, like we've talked about before, Sim and Morty, there are probably other ways to spend the points. You could split them into 2 5-mans and have 110 points left over from the from the characters, and just have more reliable stuff.
That's fair.
5-man jump out a Rhino, stand on a point, they deny it, even if they don't live to hold it the following turn. But if the 10 wasn't going to live with the characters, then you're still up on the deal. But I mean, it sounds like Eldar are going to be a problem. It sounds like with a lot of matchups we've got tech pieces, but I guess it's just what it is. But the more I'm hearing about this and other stuff in the meta, the more I feel like 20 to 30 5-man Plague Marines jumping out of Rhinos is perfect for what we've got going on, where we can have our own cheap trade pieces that can punch up for their points, and have it where they jump out, they're kind of fast enough with the Rhinos extra 3 inches.
Yeah.
They die, it's not the end of the world. We can kind of match people's OC. Like if you can kind of like Swiss Army knife the weapons to whatever you feel you would need. So I feel like maybe that's becoming a core of if we're going to like look to sort of match the meta, maybe that's a good starting point, because again, it is really cheap.
Yeah.
Like 30 Plague Marines and 3 Rhinos, if you take them bare,
and
it's like
the thing is, well,
it's like 700 points.
If you whack some bubotic weapons on those guys, they'll mince Eldar. Like 5 dudes will chop up Eldar infantry all day long. It is a lot of attacks, especially if you take minus 1 save contagion. And here's the thing I also want to remind chat as well, is I've said a lot of scary things, like Aziman, Morgan Ra, not Morgan Ra, Morgan Ra, the fire dude, I think that's him. No, Morgan Ra's the you don't want to be Fugan, that's it. This Eldar book can do a lot of stuff, a lot of crazy stuff, but it can't do it all in the same list. And I think we're going to have to see what develops to be the strong build, because yes, 10 Fire Dragons plus Fusion can kill any tank in the game. But do you need that unit to kill tanks? Because it might be a case no, and then the worry of that unit existing is just not exactly as much of an issue. It might be when stuff gets nerfed and they change and they pivot what they're taking. Azumin might not even get taken from. We need to see things coming out. But like as Will alluded to there, worst case scenario, you can always pivot to play mission more, because missions win games. Like you can take 5-mans and stuff like that. You can engage in a trading game, because even though Eldar points are in general like quite high, because apparently they're not changing too much, just characters are coming down a bit.
Yeah, they're still quite expensive by the sound of things.
Which means especially if you're getting value indirectly off, like if you bought 3 PVCs or something, or even 2, you might be able to outvalue them over time, because like you lose 10 cultists 50 points, but if on the return or indirect you killed like a squad of 3 bikes, which is like 100 points, like Weird.
Magnus, don't say that word. Magnus has just written the word night spinner in chat.
The night spinner looks annoying. I wouldn't be too worried. I don't think people are going to take them.
No,
I
just more meant when. Do you remember like when start of 10th when people were running 3 of them?
Oh god, don't remind me.
Oh yeah, they were horrible. I mean, it sounds to me like the more content I'm taking in from other people talking about different factions, and the more talk this, the more I'm starting to think like what you just alluded to, Aiden, where it's time to drop anything that's a big unit, say more than 200 points. Unless you go for one and you keep one in your list and it's got like a goal, and just loads of little stuff that runs around the board and can get good trades. You know, like we talked about Plague Marines. Admittedly, you might come up into hard counters where unfortunately you can't kill what you need to. But in those games, you probably can just play for points and try and sort of tempo the game. So I think certainly there's that there. But then maybe PBCs is the other way. Maybe that's you put them. I don't know, but I don't know. For me, the PBCs, I just can't work out what else goes in the list with them. But then with PBC, I'll tell you what. Here's another question, because I know we're sort of coming to time. Are 2 PBCs enough PBCs, or does it need to be 3 PBCs for it to be worthwhile? I put that to both of you.
I like the 3 at the moment. I used to run 2 when I could ignore mods with Morty, but I feel like you need the 3 to sort of even things out. Plus, I have missed playing with them when I played with them. Like, they are still kind of chunky, provided you're not like getting shot by like horrendous things. But again, it really depends what they're gonna go for. If they go for like a lot of fire prisms and stuff, then obviously not great. I mean, they still have to get line of sight, but swings and roundabouts. I think I'm taking PBCs. I'm taking 3 though, personally. What about you, Dave?
So I quite enjoyed taking Plague Storm. Well, my version of it that had the 6-man Dash Shroud unit to drop in somewhere to either shore up a point, hide behind a wall, or do the rapid ingress, or etc. etc. And in that, 2 PBCs was enough for me. I think if you're going to play it with lots of Plague Marines, bear in mind I also had like a Plague Bus in there as well. I had 30 cultists, I had 6 Death Shroud, and then I had the 2 drones and a Blight Hauler, as well as 2 PBCs, and then 3 Predators. In that kind of list, I think it would work. I am definitely going to put a Definer on the table. Just I've never played with one. I've got a couple in the cupboard, but in the cabinet over there. But so I still think 2 is probably enough if you're playing that kind of more mechanized list.
Do you know? Yeah, I was going to say, no, just I didn't mean to cut you finish.
No, that's okay.
Sorry. Do you know what would pair quite nicely with PBCs? War Dog Huntsman probably go really well with them, because you can push up the board and you get the heavy melter shots, and you're kind of pushing into sort of the mech thing, and you get. And they don't have the indirect though, do they?
That was what I'd say. If they could have the Havoc launcher, yeah, because the Havoc launcher actually is kind of scary to Eldar.
Yeah, if you then put those with those, that would be great. And then like a
Stalkers in there. The Stalker's the same points. It's just 3 characters, and you lose. The data sheet ability on the Stalker is the most situational.
It's the most, yeah.
Like, I mean, a Huntsman's probably better, but it's just a cheap way of getting more like melter guns. 'Cause I think the problem I found with the 3 PBCs was all of a sudden you are like, if someone brings armor, I'm pretty screwed because I've spent so many points in this indirect. I don't have enough points.
But you got to remember this. But they still need. If someone brings tons of armor, they've still got to get that armor out into the board to get line of sight on you. And playing on UKTC and stuff like that, it's so easy to hide them. To make people have to bring the stuff out, and then I agree. Then once they can get shots on stuff, then it can be a problem. But you can then have answers with things like if you're running a list that's got 6 Death Shroud and a Lord of Contagion in the mix somewhere that's sat in the mid-board going, well, come close then. Or you've got some War Dog Carnivores, or you've got, a couple of Annihilators floating around in reserve. I think if an armor list there is, just because they're on the table, doesn't mean they're dead for me. I think if you start pushing them aggressively, yes, absolutely, it's easy to get shots on. But I think as we've talked about repeatedly, there's no magic Death Guard list that deals with everything in the game, right?
I will say, Dave, as well, I think Blight Hall will stonks go up because Eldar vehicles are T9.
Yeah.
So that thing we're winning them on 2s. Yeah. They don't have fate dice to automatically pass when that melter connects.
But 3
PBCs and 3 Blight Haulers, because again, the Blight Haulers being so cheap,
triple
offsets
predator
PBC
into that
being
is really fun as well.
So triple predator, triple. So like, yeah, you could do like the plague stone build in
Strength 9
place.
autocannons straight
Yeah.
into those as well.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you take them down to 8, like they're minced by those.
Yeah, so we do have to remember the Eldar vehicles are always usually 1 toughness lower than your average, and that is actually a big breakpoint for our army, because that means reality they're T8 when we get near them, which means Metal's now wounded on 3s, 2s for the hulls, because +1. All cannons wounded on 3s. There's actually some damage there. I agree. Kazuma, don't get me wrong, my Blight Haulers can sometimes flop for me as well, but it just, the stats become more like, for example, Blight Hauler versus Lehman Rust, not having a good time, you wounded it on 4's best.
Yeah.
Blight Hauler into Eldar vehicles, you wounded it on 2's. Like, the odds are a lot better.
I mean, the things that's amazing at the Eldar is Brigands, because of the spray shot. But again, you're back to expensive point units.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can take Brigands and PBCs. You've got to pick your lane kind of thing, and the Brigands bring a little bit of tippy out of line stuff, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do wonder if
And the other thing, sorry, just on that as well, is if you run PBCs and you've got Eldar vehicles, then once you've got them in contagion, you're winning on 4s anyway. Like,
I mean, even the mortars will do work in the Eldar vehicles, to be fair.
They're only usually, what, 6 wounds?
Yeah, and strength 10 on the entropy.
Unless it's a prison. Yeah.
Strength 10 on the entropies, if you took them, doesn't matter, because it's T9.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right.
So,
I
let's
mean,
see. I mean,
yeah, three PBCs, and then either 3 140-point knights, probably not the carnival because you want guns, or 3 blight haulers. I think that's probably the foundation of something. And I'd probably still want to put at least 20 plague marines and 2 rhinos in 5-man units.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a 30. I don't know. And then you probably get some stuff to put. Because I mean, the plague bus is probably also really good into it. To be fair.
Sorry, I was just laughing. Magnus did nothing wrong. Just wrote crazy. Will thinks war dogs could bear well.
War Dog Will likes war dogs. Never heard of that
I
before.
know, I'd have 3. I'd probably put 3 hunts before I put 3 blasts. I do like the blight haulers, the little bugs. Yeah, I sing them songs when I roll the dice. Little bug, little bug, little bug. that way, I think he'll roll, corks and the 6s out of the dice.
Nice.
I will say though, one thing to remember, and just because Mark mentioned it in chat, who's mentioned about wanting to get more range and entropes in Codex. Worst case scenario, guys, our book is only potentially 3 months even potentially. I mean, we're getting Eldar now. Guard's technically already out. It just needs its release week.
Yeah, we've only got
the
3 months.
So the Emperor's Children stuff seems to be coming thick and fast as well.
Yeah.
Like I kind of want that to come out.
We could be out in March, guys. Seriously,
I think I'm personally going. The earliest is going to be May. I think.
I don't know. I'm feeling.
I think I could see
if
it.
Old East was true, then it's April,
Okay.
and then you're going to have Emperor's Children probably straight afterwards.
Emperor's Children's before.
Okay, so then you've
Emperor's
got
Children's next.
Yes,
Emperor's
you've got
Children's next
Emperor's Children. You've got Emperor's Children March, World Easter April. Then if we get first out of Thousand Suns and us, then we're May. If not, I think we're June.
I could see. Do you know what, Dave? I could see them from a business point of view. I keep saying the business, but then sometimes it surprised me. I could see them wanting to leave Emperor's Children to soak for a couple of months and not do any other factions to try and push people to starting them as an army, and then give people time to hobby up and then do this, because they'll have a second wave of models as well. So I could see them doing that with Emperor's Children. Emperor's Children just kind of hog their release schedule for 2 or 3 months, with the exception of maybe a couple of things in Age of Sigmar and Old World. I could see that. I mean, logically that would make sense, but then the other thing is with demons, are they going to rip the band-aid off and quick fire stuff to sort of keep the demons players? I mean, I'm so surprised that Eldar's pre-release and Guard's release date are the same day. Like that blew me away in terms of a GW decision. So
I think that kind of makes that makes me feel like we're getting they're just going down a. I think they're going to do an intense release schedule. Do you think they're still going to? I think they are going to crack on and drop a ton of stuff at the same time, and then go. Here you go. Now go into the back end of the year and out the other side for the season, with loads of the season left, with as many books out as possible.
I think because the problem is when the demon book not demon book, that's not happening, comes out, the Slanesh book, it's going to update the data sheets of demons and potentially how they interact with certain things. And I think in order to make the transition for demon players as smooth as possible, they just have to crank the chaos books. I think they just have to. They just got to rip it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like Emperor's Children, and then like 2 weeks after that we get like the first hints of like World Eaters, and like 3 weeks after that we get Death Guard, and then after that Thousands, like pretty quick in succession. Because the rumor is as well that we're on 10th edition now. Yeah, 11th edition. It's not a full rewrite. It's just like a sort of cleanup, whatever. But apparently that's closer than we think. Because it's not a full reset.
It's scheduled for the summer, isn't it? Because they
June
follow...
26th.
It's this summer, isn't it? Is it not 2025?
11th won't be this year.
People,
I thought
people
if they follow the usual schedule, it is this year. That's what people were.
There's no way there's enough time with everything else they're dropping.
Well, this is the thing, but like I was going to say, 'cause when I started in 8th, they did a book every month, sometimes a book every fortnight. Like as soon as one was out, they start previewing the next one. I don't know if they'll do that again, because I
think there's not enough.
Down.
Yeah, they haven't. They just haven't made any noises about it whatsoever for it to be this year. Could be, like I said, as we always say, we know nothing about what's happening on this. This is our personal speculation, but well, my bet would be on summer next year.
I can see that. But one thing we do need to remember, the next question in the chat is the one difference this will be between 9th and 10th edition is I don't think this is a full new edition reset. I don't think your codex is going to get invalidated. It'll be like 8th to 9th was, where your codex is still usable in the new edition, but you will get a new one. It's just you'll use your old one until the new one comes out. So it's not going to feel as bad as like Guard at the end of 9th when they basically got screwed. And dude, right, I can't read this. Duda Anomi. Duda Anomi, thank you very much for coming and playing with me, mate. Massively appreciate it, mate. Again, check out that community tab. Get your link to join that Discord. I just realised the time, guys. I apologise. I've had you on for an extra.
No, don't worry at all.
I got to finish painting. I'm calling that done.
Ooh, I'll wait to see.
Show the camera, Dave. Show. I know you.
The light's not very good in here.
He doesn't pick it up.
Oh, ever the perfectionist. Now here you are.
What? No,
look, the light isn't that's my edge highlighting quite right.
You can't really see it very well, but
oh, it's good. It's got quite a lot of texture on there, Dave. I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure if it was going to be like just the sort of classic, just slap and colour. It looks really good. That.
You had to put some pictures in the old Discord, people.
Yeah.
But I mean,
anyway, that'll be fun. So yeah, we'll put some pictures. I'll put some pictures in the Discord, and then we'll do an announcement on the community tab about how we're gonna get rid of it. So Hugh, I expect you to be, for the amount of paint chat you've been having towards my painting and what I should be doing and licking paintbrushes, etc. I'm going to be expecting you to be definitely bidding on getting this thing.
Oh dear me. But I mean, yeah, I think sort of to wrap up, I think the Eldar book is going to be, it's going to have an impact on the meta. I think it's going to. I can weirdly see it just making everyone take a ton of indirect again. I can just see it. I can see guard mortar pits everywhere, which might actually skew us away from cultists because they'll just die. You might again those 5-man Plague Marine squads might looking good. I can see, like us taking like PBCs. I can see Marines taking Desolation squads. Like, I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of it because Eldar hate indirect. And you want to kill Eldar, you bring out, and that might influence Eldar to then go like a mechanized route, as Will said. So I think it's going to have a rippling effect, but it's not going to be seen in one way. I think it's going to be almost like an arms race as Eldar evolve, the meta reacts, Eldar re-evolve, the meta adapts. And one thing you'll be sure. Fuck Bridgehead. It's not going to be as bad as that. I would much rather play against all this new Eldar nonsense. And innovation will keep coming from this silly little index that we all have. Defilers are here. PBCs are here. Some guys still run 18 Deshrad, the mad lad. And, it's all going to be changing soon when we get a book. So don't feel down about it. I'm weirdly not down about the Eldar.
If anything, it's just going to force us to adapt again.
Yeah.
And we will.
I've been really annoyed.
We've dealt with everything that's been chucked at us.
Yeah.
So I'm like, bring it on, Eldar. Let's see what you got, and then we'll just work out how to screw you up.
And like worst case scenario, Eldar OP. What's new? We've all been here like a million times before. This is not.
The balance of this must be due soon. Is when I was thinking.
March, I think it is.
March. Yeah. And that's another. It's probably another.
Is it early March though?
Okay.
It's not too bad.
So we'll have to see, but I think
do Yeah.
I think overall we'll find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way, and one thing Vanguard have is definitely got some.
There's a will.
There's a will.
There you go, see.
Before we wrap up tonight, guys, anything else you guys want to say?
Like and subscribe.
Like
Yeah,
and subscribe.
like, comment, subscribe, and
Yep.
thanks to there's been roughly about 100 people watching tonight, so thank you very much for tuning in, and for all those who became plague winners this evening, thank you very much, and especially for the gifted memberships at the start. It's very kind of you. And thanks for tolerating me looking down the entire stream and looking at.
You were a busy man. It's fine. Very quickly for Xenox88, just joining in what seems like the scariest part. Apologies, we are heading off now, but I will tell you right now, honestly, the scariest part of the Eldar is what the good players are going to do with it, because the skill ceiling on the army is cracked. But if you were on about units, it's the Phoenix Lords and the
It's a good final question, actually. Yeah, and Will, what's your answer to that question?
What's this?
Sorry, in the bottom of the chat, someone just dropped in saying, "Hey, just joining. What seems like the scariest part of the new Eldar?" And Aiden just said, "Oh, actually, we're just jumping off." But Aiden said, "Probably characters." What do you think, Will?
Yeah, the Phoenix
quick
Lords.
answer.
I don't know. So just the pointy ears. Too many pointy. I don't trust pointy ears. There you go.
Okay, and I would say probably the most mobile army in the game, getting more mobility, is for me the scariest thing about them.
100%.
I think for us, it's anti stuff with dev wounds attached to it, which is the same for everyone. But particularly because we have no defense to get outside of Morty, I think that's the serious answer. Like Aiden pointed out, flat 3 damage, anti-infantry 3+ dev wounds is, you know, how do you Death Shroud live through that, when especially when they're running away 4 inches at a time.
Do you know what else isn't going to live very long, Will?
What's that?
This stuff. This is going to live very long. It's going in. I'm going to go and set fire to it in a sacrificial bonfire, I think now.
The
There you go.
pains.
Well, once you finish being a hobby guy, Dave, and you're back to playing the game.
Yeah.
How would we improve at the game? Where could we go to get such help? What services might be out there?
Well, I know some people who have actually got some nice painted models, and they can actually paint, and that's the guys over at Vanguard Tactics who, as I would say, Aiden and I play for. Will, when you kind of have a better realization of what you should be doing, you will be welcome.
When the Vanguard Tactics guys get beat by Stonehammer this weekend, and then you all jump ship.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay. So if Vanguard win, then you have to come and join Vanguard Tactics.
We're playing for wills.
Yeah, because you're that confident.
My team might
right?
tank that on purpose to get rid of me.
Anyway, enough of that.
Vanguard Tactics might tank it to make sure they don't have to put up with me.
But to answer your question, in all seriousness, head on over to vanguardtactics.com or Vanguard Tactics YouTube channel. They have an academy you can join. They have masterclasses. They have loads of free battle reports, and very close friends of our channel. And as I said, Aiden and I both play for them as a team, and Aiden is the Death Guard coach, and that's where you can get some coaching. But we'll always say, I mean, look, if I wanted to paint something else, which I don't, like if I wanted a better model, where could I go to get them?
Well, if you do decide to get some more models to paint, or some more painting supplies, even Dave, if you do secretly
For his bonfire.
Element Games we're affiliated with, so we have an affiliate link in the description of the videos and the channel as well. If you buy models in the UK, buy them through there. Doesn't cost you anything extra. We just get a little kickback. So helps keep us in models and helps keep our hobby going. But Aiden, if I was looking to track the range of, say, my contagions and maybe some 9-inch, deep strikes and stuff, is there anyone that's selling them some contraptions that could help me?
They are back in business now, Will. So our friends over at Saltire Games, who make
the kiss and excitement. There you go.
Wow.
A disgustingly resilient podcast. They make disgustingly resilient podcast themed gaming aids. So you got contagion range markers, deep strike markers, all sorts of things like that. Little reminders for what turn it is, the range of contagion, infected objective marker, things like that. So go check those guys out. Links in the description below. I use promo code. I think that one is Nurgle for that one, and you get 10% off your order, and it lets know that we sent you, which is really cool as well. So check that out if you're after those. Just very quickly into the chat, Luke Marks, just want to say a big thanks. The first time I've managed to make a live chat, even though I've been a member for ages. This channel has completely changed Warhammer for me. Thank you. You are very welcome, Luke.
Amazing,
I appreciate the support. I am glad you find the channel useful. That's all we tried to do here, is try and make it helpful for people, and I'm glad that you're enjoying it. And Ian Doherty, down here in Australia, I can only catch the tail end of the streams and then spend the whole workday rewatching the full stream. So thank you for helping through the normalcy of daily life. You're very welcome. If I can get you through the workday a little bit easier, then that's a good mission accomplished. And very lastly, Warvane is making Toad in the Hole tonight for his painting session.
So amazing.
We've inspired someone.
And also, I mean, linking to the fact that the people obviously, it's really, the compliments obviously mean a lot to all three of us. But we are, as I said, and already alluded to, we've got some pre-recorded stuff with the LVO guys, so there'll be more coming this week, more content. So keep like and subscribe.
First one will be up tomorrow.
Yeah, so there you go. So we'll, some more stuff to listen to while you're working, doing painting, whatever it is that you do when you listen to us. So yeah, so this week should be a lot more coming from us.
Yeah, I mean, I dropped a community posting earlier, but we are under 1,400 subs from 10,000 now, which is kind of quite unbelievable. So as I said in that, thank you so much everyone for supporting the channel, for subscribing, whether you've been with us for a long time or whether you're a new subscriber. Like Will said, like, comment, subscribe. Please support the videos. If you want to know when we're posting something, click the little bell icon at the bottom, and that will tell you when we've got something coming up. And if you've got friends that are, that you want to make play Death Guard, get them to follow us, and we can just continue to grow this community, and keep all this good stuff coming. So thank you very much for your support.
And talking of the channel, if you want to rep us some more, we have some dice, things you can take with Baron of Dice. And also we have a fashion store with our, catwalk models, as you can no doubt tell. But if, have some branded T-shirts, hats, other things, linking to the various memes and sort of banter link the channel, the 11th Cultist, the Plague Bus, and then just some cool branded stuff. So more ways to get involved and help us keep bringing more content to you. Okay. But I'll say goodbye there. My missus is messaging me.
There's going to be like a hook
spaghetti bolognese, promised.
It's like one of those shepherd's hooks just goes around his neck and pulls him away. Yeah, no worries, you get going, Will. That's not a problem, mate.
Yeah, I'll see you in the next one, guys.
See you later, Will.
Take it easy, buddy.
Take care. I'm just going to very quickly before we've all gone weird. Just very quickly, Dave. If you guys enjoyed the Hobby Hangout stream, let me know, because I'm always having to paint stuff, so we can do some more of them. And sometimes I'm sure, even though Dave may not be painting,
I'll certainly come and join.
You might just come and join for a chit chat, because we had a lot of fun talking about absolute random bullshit. It was hilarious. So
it was really good.
If you're joining for 40k content, probably skip that one. But if you guys want more Hobby Hangout and absolute random talk about foods, diets, and absolute nonsense, tune in for that. But for now, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one. Stay right, everybody. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye. I'll use some music as well. See you later, everyone.
Let's go radio.
Cloaked in silence, grim and pale, shrouded forms behind rusted veils, wielders of scythe, reapers of life, bound to Mortarian, blessed by strife. No words are spoken, yet dread pervades, eternal watchers, unbroken blades. Astride the tides of filth they tread, the deaths from march where life has fled. Heal the king of father's will. Unyielding, relentless, they kill. Echoes of death in every stride. Plague-born rage, shadows by his side. Shadows of rot, the signs of despair. Life withers and dust beneath their glare. Guardians of plague, champions of blight, extensions of the pale king's might. Toxic mist clings to ancient blades. The man reaper swings, death incarnate. Each strike in silence, each reap a red rend. Their inexorable march will not end. Handpicked by Mortarian's hand, loyal till death, his final command. Eternal duty, a silent crusade. They carry the blade till the end of days. He'll indicate the Father's will. Unyielding, relentless, they kill. Echoes of death in every stride. Plague-born wraith, shadows by his side. Shadows of rot, the size of despair. Life withers and dies beneath their glare. Guardians of plague, champions of blight, extensions of the Pale King's might. Sacrifice of noble hands, carving doom across the land. Fairy and shadow, eternal and true, the death shroud march to bury you. Shadows of rot, heralds of dread, they march where the living fear to tread. No mercy, no escape, no salvation lies. The death will bring the galaxy's demise. No words are spoken, no mercy shown. The death's love remain, shadows alone. From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death god marches on the sickened skies. With boils and blight, they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name, disease will reign. Rot and ruin and pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. From the depths of rot and decay they rise. The death god marches under sickened skies. With boils and blight, they spread the pain. In Nurgle's name, disease will reign. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. Armored and filled with rusted blades, they laugh as cities wilt and fade. Where they tread, no life remains, just hollow corpses, plague remains. Beneath the helm, the cursed grin, for in death they shall begin. Rot and ruin, pestilence flows. With every breath the plague wind blows. Embrace the rot, let flesh decay. The death god comes, none can stay. Beneath the warp the souls are bound, to spread decay, to break the ground. Nurgle's gifts a putrid stain, a future where only disease remains. clan will burn, the pure will fall. Mortarian's wrath will consume them all. Ultimately pride crumbled in the dust. Your emperor's light can't stop the rust. Disease and rot are your final breath. Now kneel before the reaper's death. I am the plague, I am the rot, the end of all that you forgot. You fought for hope, you fought for lies. Now your shining world slowly dies. From the skies I bring despair. Your warrior choke on poisoned air. My cracking flames, hear the cries. Mortarian's blade, watch his glory dies. The reaper falls, you're on a sword. In death your soldiers are reborn. There's no salvation, no last stand. My crown is buried by my hand. Blue and gold, once proud, once bright, now swallowed whole by endless night. I am decay, and I will feast. Your chapter falls beneath my feet. Goyman sons will face my wrath. In every breath, your lungs turn black. Your noble heart, I turn to ash in my shadow. Your hopes will crack. I am the plague, I am the rot, the end of all that you forgot. You fought for hope, you fought for lies. Now your shining world slowly dies. From the skies I bring despair. Your warrior choke on poisoned air. The cracking flames, hear the cries. Mortarian's blade, watch his glory dies. The angel falls, you're on a sword. In death your soldiers are reborn. There's no salvation, no last stand. My crown is buried by my hand. My crown, what's the jewel of the stars? Now lies broken, tainted with my scars. I am your doom, your final breath. Mortarian comes, delivering death. From the skies I bring despair. Your warrior choke on poisoned air. My cracking flames, hear the cries. Mortarian's blade, watch his glory dies. The angel falls, you're on a sword. In death your soldiers are reborn. There's no salvation, no last stand. My crown is buried by my hand. Buried by my hand. You fall, you fall. My flag is buried by my hand.
From the shadow depths of a broken hive, corpses twitch and come alive. This crimson plague, it feeds on fear as the bodies drop and it draws us near. Our skin is crawling, something's inside. Internal organs liquefied. Death God's gift, a twisted fate. No escape for me, yeah, it's too late. No goal comes except your fate. And we'll solve the hives infected. It's too late. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive will consume when it's sick disease. Our souls corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking pox now takes its bite. The walking pox now takes its bite. Blood the rod, blood the rod. Walking pox now takes its bite. Lungs are burning, pox fills the air. You scream for help, but no one cares. Bones are breaking, bodies swift. The death guard's gift, death's toxic kiss. Pale-eyed stare with a hollow glare. They're gone but shambling, lost somewhere. This hive is his, disease and bloom. No light survives in this darkened tomb. Then no comes except your fate. And we'll solve the hives infected, it's too late. Watch it all decay, falling to your knees. The hive will consume when it's sick disease. Our souls corrupted, can't run, can't fight. The walking pox now takes its bite. The walking pox now takes its bite. You'll feel it settle deep inside. There's no cure, nowhere to hide. You breathe me in, you can't escape. I am the plague, I am your fate. Watch it, you its bite. Walking Box now takes its bite.
In the shadow of decay I rise, Typhus the herald beneath poison skies. With nervous rods I lay walls to waste, the reaper's scythe no life can escape. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Nurgle's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth. Carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Nurgle's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. The Imperium's light crumbles to dust. Wherever I tread, rot consumes the just. Space hulks reek of a foul rebirth. Carriers of plague across the cursed earth. Beneath the flies, beneath the filth I spread the plague with a twisted will. From festering wounds, corruption grows in the heart of death. God, where despair flows. I am the harbinger, the bringer of disease. In Nurgle's name I spread death with ease. Pestilence walks with me hand in hand. Rivers of filth drown the land. I am Typhus, master of decay. In the name of ruin I claim the day. Play with howl, the gassing walls, the pestilent tides, new life is born. Nurgle's blessing, a twisted place. I embrace your heart in my cold embrace. Fear the plague fleet, fear the end. No salvation, no let to defend. I am Typhus, reaper of dread. Bow to Nurgle, embrace the dead. In the void, where the warp winds howl, a fleet once noble, now destined to fall. Grave wardens stir, betrayal takes shape. Typhon's whispers, sealing their fate. Navigators lost to the shadowed lie, a fleet adrift beneath a darkened sky. The warp's cruel grasp, unyielding and tight. Chaos awaits in the endless night. Whispers of power, a pestilent tide. Mortarian's pride, side. Through agony storm, their oaths collide. Grandfather's hand, the pact is sealed. The Legion reborn, their fate revealed. Rise in the armor, rot in the soul. A Primarch remade, his heart grown cold. In terror's shadow, their war drums beat. Pestilent warriors, no chance of retreat. Through breach and ruin, their banners fly. With death's embrace, they'll never die. The Lion's Gate, where hope was torn. Dragontide's blade meets the blade born. Bound by decay, they rise in his name. The Death God transformed, never the same. Blade-born sons with torment they bled, shambling forth where angels fear to tread. Typhus herald, chaos born, Mortarian's wrath, the plague sworn. In the warp, their legacy thrives, eternal servants where corruption lies. Mortarians fall, Typhus ascends, the death god song, it never ends.